And does the microphone need to be straight on me, or can it be to my side?
Oh, it could be your side.
Okay. I got a selfie stick the other day.
You did. I was
Yes.
thinking that's something that I wanted to actually get for here in the studio.
I actually brought it today in case we needed it. But the reason I got it is because you can do video. And it's hard for me to shoot a video on my own because I can't get enough distance and I can't hold it steady enough, you know? And so I got it, but it plugs into the phone jack. So the videos I shot as a test, you can't hear anything. So you have to unplug the jack and then manually turn it on and then do it, and then manually turn it off, which is not a big deal because still get the better view of it.
Right.
But I like, didn't realize that. We're doing all these test videos.
Oh, wow.
I'm all into it, and then I get it, and I'm like pantomiming.
A friend of mine, he goes to the Art Institute right here, and he just got a drone for campus. And I was like, dude, that is super cool. Like, I can't even imagine what you do. He's like, man, I was just driving around Ocean Beach right here.
Yeah.
He's like, I was just going around the cliffs and, you know, going into caves that we can't go, like you can't walk to. And I was like, dude, that had
That's
to been
cool.
fun. Yeah, that had to have been super fun. So he's an old Marine, so he's got all kinds of like gadgets are his thing. He gets all kinds of crazy gadgets. Yeah, it's fun. So we're gonna go live in about 5 seconds.
Cool. And this is a good distance, or does it need to be closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's picking up.
Excellent. And do I need headphones?
I wish. I don't have another pair that would stretch that far.
I can still hear you though, right?
Yeah, you'll still hear me.
Okay.
This is just for me to make sure that that the fan or anything's not picking up too much in it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thrivecast. This is Stuart Joseph, and right now we have Sheri Fink in studio with us, and we're going to be talking about empowerment through storytelling and journaling. By now, I'm sure you've heard our previous interviews here on Thrivecast. Sheri is an absolute delight to be around, and one of the most important things Sheri does is she's an incredible voice for hope and inspiration, especially when it comes to our young children. With her countless best-selling children's books, The Little Rose, The Little Seahorse, The Little Firefly, and many more incredible children's books that inspire and boost self-esteem within young children. Something I've had the firsthand privilege of experience with my daughter, who absolutely adores her Little Rose book and Firefly lip balm. But Sheri's work has been a tool for parents across the world to have an opportunity to teach their children through the incredible books while enjoying priceless personal time with their little ones. Sheri has been doing a lot of public book readings across the U.S. at various elementary schools and children's hospitals. And today, Sheri is someone who truly goes after her dreams. Just last year, after releasing her 4th children's book, she went after her dream of becoming a musician and released an incredibly powerful album entitled Love Notes. She is here to talk about the importance of empowerment through storytelling and journaling, along with her new best-selling book, or her new book, My Bliss Book, a personal journal designed to help you create more magic, passion, and aliveness in your life while achieving your wildest dreams. Sheri, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. That was amazing. I love that intro.
Thank you. And I apologize to our listeners. As you guys know from yesterday's show, I'm getting over being sick, so I might sound weird on the microphone, or, you know, it is me, I promise. So how have things been over the last year, Sheri?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. Things have just been so magical. I feel so grateful every day to get to do what I do in the world.
So what was the response you got from the Little Seahorse release last year?
Oh, it was tremendous.
Yeah.
It was the biggest release I'd ever had.
Oh, wow.
It went #1 6 months before the book even came out.
Yes.
Which I don't even know could happen at the time. And then we had a huge release party and people came out and we had a cake with the book cover on it. We had kids walk the pink carpet.
Yes.
It was so much fun.
I love that, the pink carpet.
Yes. It has to be pink.
Yes.
Pink and sparkly makes everything better.
Always. So in your experience, Sheri, how has storytelling been beneficial for your own personal health and wellness?
I think that's the way that we connect with people. I really do. I think as adults, as children, like we really resonate when people tell their personal story,
Oh, of
when they
course.
share what they've been through, and with an authenticity and honesty that you just know, you feel it, right? Like sometimes you get goosebumps, or you just have that juicy feeling, like, oh my gosh, me too.
Right, right. No,
So
yeah, definitely.
it's inspiring.
Especially for me, especially when I see, not only when I read somebody sharing something about themselves, but when I actually see somebody in person sharing it, and it's something that actually relates to me, that could be a super super powerful
Yes,
experience for someone.
absolutely.
So what are some of the things that fans have told you about your books that kind of helps inspire you to keep on writing?
Well, I love hearing from my fans.
Right.
And I think one of the most powerful things is that it made a difference in their lives. Sometimes kids, I mean, we all have a time when we feel left out. I mean, every single one of us has at least one moment where we felt different,
Oh yeah.
or maybe even made fun of by
Right.
someone else. And I think the little rose is very helpful from what I hear from my fans, and like helping them see, oh, what other people think isn't more important than what I know,
Right. Right.
you know?
And what's inside of me, and let it grow. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And also I love hearing from fans, like they see me doing things that are my wildest dreams, and
Right.
they think, "Wow, if you could do that, maybe I could do that too."
Yes. Yes.
So I love hearing that my stories or my life or my speaking or something that I've done or connected with someone inspires them.
Yeah.
Like that's my goal, is just to help people feel passionate about who they really are, and to grow into whatever it is that they dream of.
So in each one of your books has a different way of inspiring somebody too, right? I mean, the little
Yes.
gnome is more like the boy version of the little rose, right? Am I correct?
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then the little rose is about kind of building self confidence inside of
Yes.
young children. The little seahorse. What's the message behind that one?
The little seahorse is very bashful.
Yes.
So the lesson he learns is to speak up and ask for help in order to bring a gift home for his mother.
And in some way, do all of these books relate to a personal experience in your life?
They all do. Yes,
Definitely.
they are all inspired by personal experience. They're all messages that I need, that I think everyone can benefit from,
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
and I personally thank you for putting together such great books, because this has been like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, a very beneficial way for me to be able to connect with my daughter. It hasn't really worked with my sons, but storytelling is not really their cup of tea. But it's definitely with my daughter. It's helped us connect on a total different level, and it's helped me have conversations that might feel uncomfortable for a dad and a little girl to have, but feel more comfortable being able to, share stuff with her and talk to her because of these books. So
Wow,
I
that's so
appreciate that.
beautiful.
So can you, there's so many different ways to share your story. Recently, I don't know if you've seen it, but Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, he said he couldn't write a book. He didn't have the patience to sit down and write a book, that he's always got to keep on going and keep on doing stuff. And so he released his story via documentary.
Huh.
So, and he called it his muse. And he said it ended up being very therapeutic for him to share his story and his personal experiences, um, while answering all the questions that people have been asking him for years and years and years. And it's actually produced by Chopra,
Oh, wow.
Deepak's son, and it's a incredible documentary. Um, but it just kind of inspired me, because I'm looking at it. There's so many different ways to share your story, whether it be a documentary, whether it be writing a book, whether it be public speaking. There's so many different avenues to share your story. What has been the most inspiring thing for you in sharing your story, and how can you inspire other people to kind of put their fears aside and just let their story come out?
Hmm. That's a brilliant question. Um, I would say initially, producing The Little Rose was the best experience I had, because I was very afraid to share that story because it was inspired by bullying incident, and I had a lot of shame and embarrassment about that,
Right.
and so it was very difficult for me at first to share that. But now I'd say it's beyond the books. Like it's grown so much more. Like for me now, the most rewarding experience I have is connecting directly with fans. So that's usually through a live experience, either a speaking
Yeah.
engagement or at a festival, or a way to reach many more people at one time.
Right.
and to have that personal connection, you know, through voice, through visuals, like not just through a tangible product.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is one of the biggest fears you had to overcome when you were writing your book?
Oh my goodness. I was afraid of everything. I think sharing that story and being judged, I was afraid of that.
Oh,
I think everyone, when you create something brand new and you're completely different territory than you've ever been in before, it's scary because you don't know what to expect,
true.
and you want to have the answers, but you don't know any of them.
Right.
And it's difficult sometimes to say, well, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I want to go for it anyway. So I think that was probably the biggest fear for me, is like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I had been in the corporate world for so long, for over 12 years, and I had mastered what I was doing.
Right.
And it was continuing to grow, but it was just refinements at that point, you know. And then this is like completely new territory that I had never ventured in before, and didn't know that many people who were doing it. And I decided, you know, I'm just going to blaze a new trail here.
And you've continued to do so throughout the last few years, because you just did an album, a music album.
Yes, which was a surprise to me too.
That's incredible. So what was what keeps you going? Like, what keeps you wanting to take on new endeavors all the time? And how do you keep it, kind of like a balance act going on with your personal life?
It can be challenging sometimes,
because
as a creative person, like, I'll get this idea, or someone will come to me. Like in the case of the album, the producer came to me. He's in the UK, and he said, I really want you on this album. And then I said, no, thank you.
Did he hear you singing though, or
No, he just knew of me, and he'd heard interviews of me.
Okay.
And he really believed in me. And so eventually
cool.
I agreed to be on this album, one track on a compilation album with a lot of other people.
That's awesome.
And then my track outsold all the other tracks. So, and the album hit #1. And then 2 days later, he contacted me and said, I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
How about we make an album just for you?
Okay.
And I thought, you're crazy. Like, I don't even know how I would do it. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. It just felt so juicy and scary and delicious. And I was writing on my novel at that point, and I just set that aside for 2 weeks, and I just hammered out songs and played with it until it felt right. I recorded the tracks, and he got all the mixing together, and like,
did you record the tracks at home on a personal microphone and then sent it to him? And yes,
in my personal studio I recorded it. And
sweet.
So yeah, it was amazing. And then that hit #1, and it made me a #1 best-selling recording artist. And then the fan mail I get for the album is incredible. Like, people will write me paragraph after paragraph about how I feel like I know you. I go to sleep every night listening to your words, and it really helps me. And it's just so amazing, right? Like,
goes back to saying how many beautiful different avenues there is to share your story or to inspire hope in other people.
Exactly.
And you're definitely looking for all those different avenues, because now you also have a new book that you're doing, the My Bliss book, which is a journal.
Yes,
right?
It is.
So explain the kind of the inspiration behind that real quick.
Oh, well, for the past 5 years I've been doing things differently, right? Ever since I started my business, I've been meditating. I've been making sure that I'm working out. I've been making sure that I express gratitude every day. I've been acknowledging people more. I've been doing certain things that help me keep the accelerator pressed down toward my goals and keep me focused. Like you said, balancing that, having a fun and juicy personal life as well as a successful business life.
Right.
And people are always like, well, what do you do? What do you do? And I'm like, there's so many things. I don't know how to explain it. So I had created a journal for myself a few years ago, and I've been refining it, over the years. And so I decided, I'm going to make it available to the public.
Right.
I'm going to put it out there so other people can do it too. And then when someone asks me, what are you doing that's working so well for you? I just say, this is it. Use this every day and see what happens in your life.
Yes. That's awesome. Because that's actually, it goes, one of the things that I was talking with Arun Gandhi on the show about a year ago was about the importance of journaling as it pertains to like say young people. He said one of the things that he learned from his grandfather was when you're angry at somebody or something or a situation, instead of going at it in a violent way, write down in a journal, what's making you so angry, and then write a solution to that anger.
Yes.
So, not only what's making you angry, but how can you not let that get to you again in the future? And it's just kind of, powerful, because there's so many different ways to journal.
Yes.
And there's and people look at journaling, for me, for the longest time, even when I was talking to Arun, I was like, journaling, writing down your thoughts. Like, why would I want to do that? And then I started actually doing it a little bit, and I started writing down stuff that actually made me angry. And I was like, you know, for me, what's fun about it is writing out the solutions, because I'm always looking for solutions to things. And I'm like, you know, that's the fun part to me, is writing down the solutions to what would transpire your anger. But, you know, young people might not connect with that in a certain way, but they'll definitely connect with journaling to accomplish your dreams.
Yes. And the cool thing about it is it makes it fun.
Right.
It keeps your focus on what matters. So the little things that upset us, they just pale in comparison, right? Because you're looking at your juicy future.
Yes.
You're looking at, oh, well, if I keep taking this action every day, I'm going this direction.
Yes.
This doesn't matter anymore. It just keeps everything in perspective. And for me, it keeps me aligned. So like I have core values, and then I have my big goals, and everything's in alignment. And then every day I take 5 actions toward those big goals. So like every day I go to the gym. That's one of my top priorities most days. I have a rest day every week too. But as long as I do that and I do my other 4 things, that day is incredible, right? Because I've made progress toward each of these top goals.
Right.
So it just helps me stay in alignment, stay in the flow. And then
and
when
it could be something as simple
come,
as making, like you said, something as simple as making sure you're staying in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, you just check that box, and then you're good to go, and you feel good. Like, and it's acknowledging your successes too. Like I have a victory log in here.
Okay.
Because I think most of us, we do so many things in a day that we don't give ourselves credit for. And then at the end of the day, we might be like, I didn't accomplish anything today. But if you note it, oh yeah, I got back to that person. I followed up with that person. Oh, I signed this big deal. You know, it's like,
so it's a daily victory log.
Yes.
Very cool.
Because then at the end of the day, you look back and you're like, wow, so maybe I didn't like finish the book today, but I did this that propelled me forward to this. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. That's beautiful. So going back into the Bliss book a little bit, you know, how can journaling, in your opinion, help create a strong, vibrant, and more inspired life for somebody else? You know, besides writing down the little goals, but how can, like a year from now, when you look at, or last year, when you look at your journal from last year, how does that make you feel, and how does that help you keep, you know, wanting to move forward doing it?
I think it's important to capture the moment, and not just the moments where we're upset, but the moments of celebration.
Okay.
Like when we have a major victory, like when the little seahorse launched, for example.
Right.
When I look back and I read those entries, it's amazing. Yes. I can feel like the bliss. I can feel the excitement. I can feel the like something big is happening, you know, that was going on in that moment. And it makes me smile. It makes me so grateful, because then many more moments like that have come. But then I still have that moment captured, which I wouldn't have had if I hadn't taken the time to write it down.
Right. No, definitely.
And I think also, if you write your ideal future, it gives you something more to focus on, right? With all the detail, the vivid descriptive words. You know, if one of your dreams is to have an oceanfront estate, it's seeing it through your own eyes and writing it as if you're walking through your home and your fantasy kitchen and what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Maybe your dream dog is there and your family, and you know, you guys are celebrating on your patio overlooking the ocean, like, and hearing the waves and feeling the sun on you and the music that's playing on the radio, like all these like vivid sensory moments to be captured in your ideal scene, so that you can read that over and over and basically experience your dream life daily.
You had me in my own personal bliss for a second there. When you started talking about the beachfront property, I was like, yes. Like, that's one of my goals, actually.
We could be neighbors.
Yeah, definitely. So, what kind of inspired you to do something, to keep on doing something different? Like all your books are geared towards children, but this is actually geared towards anybody. Yes.
And I'm finding now that it's going beyond the brand.
Right.
You know, before I focused very much on children, but I have a huge adult fan base that I didn't expect.
Right.
And so wonderful. And so now it's like people say, well, have you thought about doing this? Or have you thought about doing the music? Have you thought about, you know, and sometimes they resonate with me, and sometimes the ideas don't.
Right.
But when they do, they come so strongly that I can't resist doing it. You know, like I'm writing this novel right now for adults. Okay. I've been working on it for a while, and I'm so excited about it, but it's like completely different than anything I've ever done. So I'm out of my comfort zone. you know.
What's the novel about?
It's called Cake in Bed.
Okay.
And it's about a divorced young writer, and she finds herself and love in an unexpected place.
So is it kind of a personal story?
It's well,
Bit?
you can't help but like pull from your experiences a little bit, but it's fiction, and it's a romantic comedy.
Definitely. Yeah. It sounds interesting.
Thank you.
To me, it's just really powerful how you continuously go all these different routes, and you're finding success in each one because you give each one your all. Like,
yes, that's the key, is pouring your heart into it.
Right.
Like really believing in the things that you do. And like my good friend Jack Canfield, co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul, says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Right. No,
so
that's true.
It's paying attention to the things that feel so good, that's a hell yes. And then aligning our time and energy and investment so that those things can be accomplished.
Yeah.
And in my case, I like to accomplish them fast.
So tonight you're going to be doing a family reading night at Jefferson Elementary in Redondo Beach, correct?
Yes, I'm very excited.
So you're doing all these different children reading books events at various elementary schools and children's hospitals. What has been some of the experiences you gained from speaking? I'm sure going to children's hospital could be hard sometimes, you know.
Yes.
Yes. But, what's the biggest joy you receive in doing that?
Oh my gosh. It is a challenging thing. And I had to go through special training to do it, because I actually go to the pediatric ICU.
Yeah.
And I visit the kids who are in isolation units.
Yeah.
And those kids don't get very many visitors. So it's really special and an honor to get to be in the room with them and share a story. And the way that they light up, the way that their families are so gracious, and that I spent time there, and I'm like, well, this is the most important place to be, like right here, right now. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And the families, like sometimes, like recently I was there, and one of the girls' grandfathers, he, because when you go into isolation, you have to put all of this gear on to protect the child. And once you leave, you take all that off, and then in the next room, you put a whole nother set on, right, to keep everything sterile. And so I had left the room, and I had been visiting other children, and the grandfather came out into the hallway, and he said, "Oh, Miss Fink, I'm so sorry to bother you, but it would mean so much to my granddaughter if you would come back and take a photo with her." And I said, "Absolutely." And so he's like, "I'm sorry, you have to put all this stuff." And I was like, "No, I'll be there." Right. And so I peeked my head in the door, and I just said to her, I was like, "I'll be right back as soon as I get my superhero costume on."
Right.
So I got all outfitted up, and I went in there and took a picture it was on his phone.
Yes.
And then later that night, her family posted it on my fan page and wrote a beautiful message to me about how much it meant to her and how she didn't stop talking about it the whole night. And like, I just went to bed crying. I was so grateful and so happy that I did that, like that it made a difference, And
that's so one powerful thing, because my younger sister, she has cerebral palsy, and growing up, ICU unit was became normal for me. Yeah. But she always said that when because she wants to do a documentary about girls, or she says girls, but people in general that have disabilities or certain challenges, and how you shouldn't treat them any differently. Yeah. Because she was always treated differently in high school, and she was in ICU units all the time, but she always would tell me, like, when people would come and read stories to them, or they would put a group of kids or whatever, she would always feel really great about that. Like that would make her feel like she wasn't different, because she would see that always happening in the other units, but nobody would really want to come and talk, up to their unit, because it could be devastating. Some of the kids in that unit are, they're well beyond care. Their life's going to expire soon, and I don't know. For me, I remember growing up, I used to put on a persona, and I used to act like really either gothic or I would just put on some kind of persona where I would act like it never affected me, but I would always at the same time try to connect with as many people as I could in there, because those were my sister's friends, and that's who she related to. And I think a lot of it was just so I didn't I didn't want to tear up,
Right. You were coping the best way that you could.
Right. And I would always get asked questions when I was younger too, why are you always there? And from kids at school, because it's a new experience to them. No one really understands it. And it kind of reminds me of yesterday, it's actually funny. Yesterday, I was taking the trolleys here in San Diego, and I was going to get something for lunch, and there was these little girls on the trolley, and they were talking about somebody who was their friend, and she shared with the whole class that she was manic depressive.
Wow.
And because they shared with the class that she was manic depressive, they didn't want to be her friend anymore.
Oh no.
They were like, well, she's one of those loca girls. They were Hispanic girls. She was one of those crazy girls, and we don't want to. I don't think we want to talk to her anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because I would never talk to people on the trolley. Like I swear to you, I try to keep to myself. Like, especially on the trolley. And as I was doing that, I looked at the little girls, and I was like, no, that girl took a lot of courage for her to speak in especially in front of class.
Yes.
To tell everybody that she's manic depressive, and if you see me feeling down or something, let me, hold my hand or give me a hug or tell me it's okay. And, for someone to be able to speak up and say that, like me, I don't think I would have had the courage in high school to say that. No. Because I would have been afraid of what exactly those little girls were doing. Like I don't want people to be I don't want that person as my friend anymore. And
wow.
It's just really weird to me how we stigmatize people when they're coming at their most authentic moments and just sharing something so personal and so raw, how we can kind of degrade them. But as we're older, it's weird because kind of catch-22. When you're older, you can have that same mentality, but you can also kind of have more understanding at the same time. Like,
yes.
Be more open to the change.
Compassion for everyone and their experience.
Yeah.
And even those girls, they're afraid.
Exactly.
They're afraid and they have their own motivations, and maybe they didn't have someone open their eyes like you did.
Right.
That was a gift that you gave them. So.
No, yeah, that's why something told me I was like, I gotta speak up for that girl that said something in class, because I can't imagine, like, those were just two girls, but I can't imagine how many other people are probably saying the same stuff about her, and it's like, it's unfortunate, and that's the kind of conversations that I feel we should be bringing up in school. Is making it more acceptable for someone to be able to speak up like that.
Exactly. And my goal is like to reach them when they're really little.
Yes.
And to plant that seed that you're so precious. Like what those girls say or anyone else says doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
And that's why affect you.
That's what I mean when I say these books, because my daughter's 4 years old, these books assist in me having that conversation with her beforehand, Yeah. My daughter, she sometimes thinks that my sister's weird, or she's scared of the wheelchair, or she doesn't want to go give her a hug sometimes or a kiss. And she, like recently, after I keep on telling her, Auntie Lizzie is just like everybody else. She's just a little bit different, and it hurts her when you don't give her kisses because she can't come and chase you and grab you and give you kisses and stuff. And she's starting to understand that now and be more accepting of that.
Oh.
And it's kind of weird because I see my sons kind of doing the same thing where they'll kind of like mask their feelings by saying something ironic or saying something that's like, making fun out of her or something like that. But realistically, they're really trying to say, I love you. You know what I mean? Or they're trying to ask questions that they might not understand. But I mean, that's the beautiful thing is that my sister is always open to having conversations with people, and if she's not in the mood, then she literally will yell at you. She'll yell at you. So, what else is coming up, Sheri? I know you got a lot of a new book coming out next March for sure, because March is your month, right?
Yes, working toward lots of new things, especially Cake in Bed now.
Any new children's books?
We'll see.
Taking a little break.
We'll see. Right now, I'm really, really passionate about the novel.
Okay.
Yes. And I have a second album coming out.
Yes.
Actually, there'll be a series of them.
Okay.
But the new one's going to be a dance remix of Love Notes.
Okay.
Which I'm pretty excited about because you can like jam out to it in your car.
Yes. I got to get that so I can let my daughter listen to it.
Oh, I hope she loves it.
Yeah.
I feel really empowered and I recorded it. So like, I think it's fun. Like when I have an off day, my friends are like, remember who you are. Listen to your album. That's the name of one of my tracks.
Okay.
And it helps me get back on alignment too. So so that's really fun. And then I'm going to have a line of sparkly nail polishes debut later this year because I've been making my own. I couldn't find the kind that I would like.
Right.
So I have created them and people are always like, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I need that. Where can I find it? I'm like, well, you can't because I make it. So now I'm going to make that available. So that's the next line.
You're such a go-getter, Sheri.
Thank
such
you.
a go-getter.
Yeah, and then I'm doing a lot more speaking now too. Like I'm keynoting the South Bay Women's Conference in May,
Right.
and I'm going to Comic-Con. I've got like a lot of fun adventures ahead, and just really just want to follow the inspiration, wherever that leads, and do more school visits, more speaking like that. I just did one last week in Tustin, and the kids were amazing. It was 280 kids. They came in. I felt like they treated me like I was One Direction.
Right.
Like they were that excited.
That's great.
It was amazing. And like afterward, like they're all running up and trying to hug me, and it's just amazing to have that impact on them.
Yeah.
And that kids see authors as heroes now. That's something that I don't know if it was where I grew up or that we just didn't have authors visit us, because I grew up in rural Virginia in a really low income area, but I never thought of an author as a hero until I was older. And now the young kids see it that way. So it's exciting to see people excited to read at an early age.
Yeah. And that's one of the conversations that I had with he's a public school teacher here in the Los Angeles area. His name is Victor Palomares, and that's one of the things that he does is he actually, for a lot of the kids that he has in his class, he makes sure that they read stuff like Think and Grow Rich. Like he goes out of his way to buy these books for his students and make sure that they read 10 pages, or challenges them to read 10 pages a day.
That's powerful.
He'll buy what's the other one? There was another one. I can't believe I forgot it. Victor, I'll make sure I put it on the notes or something. But he's an incredible dude, but he always inspires kids to read 10 pages a day of any book. He gives them Think and Grow Rich because that's something that helped him. Yeah. But it's just, can you imagine, like, I don't know. Can you imagine 15-year-old kids getting a Think and Grow Rich, which is like, if it's the original version, it's a huge book. That's a huge book. But I mean, making them writing essays about the book and all kinds of stuff, and it's
so
just
smart.
Yeah, it's totally different from the regular what you would think you would be learning at school, but it's such valuable life information.
Change their lives.
Yeah. So, what are some final words of wisdom you might have for our listeners, Sheri?
I would say just figure out what it is you want to do and go for it. Like, don't let anybody else hold you back. Don't worry about what people think. Just go after it. See people who've done the things that you want to do, see how they did it, learn from them, like go after it after the way that they did, or create your own path altogether. But just every single day, take a step in the direction of your dream, whatever that may be.
And how can our listeners stay in touch with you?
Oh, well, I'm very active on Facebook. You can find me at facebook.com/Sheri Fink fan. And then I also have a website, sherifink.com. Okay. And I would love to hear from fans.
Definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will go ahead and post the links to the Bliss book for you on the thrivecast.net website to make sure that you're able to get yourself a copy. I believe it is less than $20, so it's really not an expensive thing for you, especially when it's a tool that could be life-changing for yourself. Trust me, I'm definitely getting myself a copy. So we'll keep you updated on how it's worked for me, and I hopefully you guys will let me know how it's worked for you. Sheri, thank you so much for your time and for driving down here today. And I really hope that it's as beautiful as you say it is outside. I have unfortunately not been able to go out yet and check out the beautiful day. I know yesterday was kind of rainy, so
yeah, it's a gorgeous day today.
Yeah,
great day for a drive.
Awesome.
So happy to be here. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Sheri.
Are we off the air?
We are off the. Oh, hold on.